What's up guys, I'm BTC. Even with all the new stuff that just got added to the game, there's still a whole bunch of new things that's gonna be coming up real soon. Lots of stuff to talk about today, potential new map, new animated shorts, new hero, and more. Let's get started. Blizzard has a fairly set schedule for how they release new content for Overwatch, but just recently in this summer, it was modified a little bit in order to compensate for some of the activities in the Overwatch League. Now, it's not like there's going to necessarily be less things that get added to the game. It's just that they're trying to reschedule the new content around so that it doesn't conflict with the major championship matches that happen in the Overwatch League. I know some people were not very happy with the summer games, myself included, but it does appear that Blizzard is going to be dropping a lot of their focus on these older events and instead trying to concentrate on the new stuff. We know that the upcoming Halloween Terror event, for example, will largely be the same that it has been in the previous years, with very little changing, and it's also been kind of semi-confirmed that there will only be 4 legendary skins for that event as well. And Blizzard is likely going to continue that weekly event structure that they just did with the summer games. I actually like that. I thought that was a good way to give out some of the rewards, rather than having to buy everything or just rely on randomness of loot box drops. But that's old stuff. Let's talk about new stuff. The first thing is that next week there's a very large gaming convention called Gamescom. In previous years, Blizzard has had a very large presence at these events, and as far as new content reveals go, this event is likely only second to BlizzCon itself. However, Blizzard has said that they will not be a major presence or significant participation in this year's Gamescom. According to the official website for the event, Blizzard will still have a small exhibitor booth that will likely be selling some sort of merchandise and maybe have some playable demos of the Blizzard games and stuff, but there will not be any major announcements or participation at the event itself. Now, you might remember last year the Diva animated short was revealed at that event, and the previous year before that was the May animated short. So, of course, a lot of people were expecting to get another one this year, but with Blizzard not participating, that brings up the question, well, is there going to be another animated short around that time frame? Now, it's entirely possible that Blizzard could release one, as it's not like it's required for them to go to the event in order to do so. However, Blizzard is emphasizing that this year's BlizzCon is supposed to be their biggest ever, and it looks like they're trying to put most of their content reveals around there instead of elsewhere. Now, last year was a kind of mixed bag for BlizzCon. While there was some good stuff that was presented, it was also probably the most disliked BlizzCon ever. Not for Overwatch in particular, just Blizzard in general. I mean, do you guys have phones, right? With BlizzCon this year, we can expect that there will be an animated short, plus a new hero announcement, at the very minimum, because that's kind of what they do every year. But it certainly sounds like we're going to get a lot more stuff in addition to that, going by the rumors that we heard earlier this year about the possibility of an Overwatch sequel, or maybe an expansion pack that might be announced as well. But BlizzCon is still a little bit ways away. It's off in November, so let's look at some of the stuff that's going to be happening sooner than that. On the hero balancing front, we know that there's supposed to be a second round of hero balancing that we can expect very soon. Jeff Kaplan mentioned that there was a lot of changes that they wanted to do when they first implemented the role queue system, but they didn't want to change everything all at once, so they kind of picked a couple of things and went with that. And one of the big changes that kind of got left on the table was something that I've talked about very recently in previous videos, which was a significant rework to Roadhog and changing him from being a bruiser to an actual tank. And we're not sure what exactly that would entail, but it would most likely include some sort of new defensive ability for Roadhog's teammates. In addition to Roadhog, there were many other characters that would likely get some sort of minor balancing to accommodate the new role queue. I wouldn't be surprised in the least to see at least a small nerf to Reaper's lifesteal, and I'm going to keep saying this because hopefully something will be done about it at some point or time or another, but hopefully they make some changes to that Shadow Step ability as well. So how soon is this stuff going to happen? Well, as they were taking down the most recent version of the PTR, one of the developers posted this message here on the official Blizzard forums that says, Thank you for helping us test Sigma and the role queue system, blah 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 blah. The public test region will not be accessible until we update with new content in a very near future. So it sounded like they had something else that was almost ready to go, and they just wanted to kind of push the regular stuff, the other things, over onto the live version of the game, and then they're going to re-upload the PTR with new stuff. So my guess is that it could be as early as next week when we get a new version of the PTR. Or perhaps they might kind of wait until the role queue beta season ends, which would be the first week of September, but in either case, it's going to be pretty soon for that. In addition to all this, we also got a teaser from Jeff Kaplan himself. About a month ago, he was on a live stream answering some questions, and he mentioned how Sigma and the role queue system were not the end of all the stuff that they were planning on adding just in the summer timeframe, and that they had something else really big planned that was going to be released in about a month or two, and right now we're in the middle of that time frame when he said it would be announced. So there's a couple of things that it could be. He may have been hinting at an animated short, as you know, the whole Gamescom thing is about that time frame, but it seems like he was kind of more talking about something that would be added to the game itself as opposed to outside of it. Now, one of the things that is scheduled to be about this time of year is a new map. Several times during the year, Blizzard will release new maps, and even with the adjustments that were made earlier this summer, we're still in a good spot for it. Now, the last map we got was with the Storm Rising Archive event. Towards the end of that event, however, we got what appeared to be a teaser for another map when Maximilian was talking about how Doomfist was heading to Singapore. Now, if you're unfamiliar with that location, it's where Doomfist was finally captured by the members of Overwatch, and seeing as it's a fairly important location, it would not be surprising in the least to see it pop up as a new map. Although, I do think that it would probably be a better map to release alongside an archive event as opposed to just, you know, randomly later on in the year. Now, I do want to share with you this image here. Some of you may have seen it already. This was some of the earliest concept artwork for the maps that they were going to make in Overwatch. Some of them have already been added to the game in one form or another. Some of them just had different name changes, like King's Row, Temple of Anubis, and Hanamura. And by the way, the Iron Star map on the top right there, that was eventually turned into Volskaya. However, some of the other ones are completely missing. The Iris seems like that it would be a very important location for the Omnics to have, and there really hasn't been a whole lot of story building up those characters. And then the Indian location could show off what Vishkar's been up to, because again, there's not a whole lot going on with them either. And then, you know, something like Galapagos might just be a really cool map to have. By the way, if you're wondering if they're going to make a map where you actually move through the water or you're underwater, I don't think it's going to happen ever, because it would just be way too hard to balance that sort of stuff. Now, another thing that bears mentioning is the missing third social feature that we were supposed to get last year. The first thing was the endorsements, the second thing was looking for group, and the third thing was delayed until this year. Now, it's entirely possible that the role queue system could have been that third social feature, but I don't think it's ever been officially confirmed by Blizzard if that is the case, like if role queue is that third social feature. But I don't know, when I think about it, it doesn't really feel like it would fit into the social feature category, right? Like, it feels more like a competitive feature or a balancing feature as opposed to like a social feature, right? Because like the other social features kind of helped you with the other teammates, whereas this helps with the matches. You know what I mean? So anyways, it might be the third one, it might not be. My point is, if it's not, then there could be something else related to that. So let's do a quick recap. The PTR should be getting an update maybe as early as next week that will likely include more hero balance changes to accommodate the new role queue. Shortly after that, there's a good chance that we're going to get a new map. While Blizzard is not going to be attending Gamescom, there's still a possibility that they could release an animated short sometime in the near future, and if not, then there will almost certainly be a new one at BlizzCon a couple months down the road. Now, I do want to point out that if they do release a new animated short before BlizzCon, then there's a really good chance that there would be a mini event that goes along with it, because remember that Diva animated short was the first mini event that we got with the Diva Nano Cola. By the way, really like the mini events that they added. Super glad that they started adding that stuff. Anyways, so there you go. Just because the summer is winding down, we still got a bunch more content that's going to be coming up. So let me ask you guys this. If there's a new animated short, who do you want it to be? And if there's a new map, where do you want that to be? Let me know down below. Thanks for watching, and if you'd like to see more, subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss anything. Also, come hang out in my Discord server and my Twitch live stream. Special thanks to my Patreon supporters. If you'd like to see what kind of cool VIP rewards you can get, check the links down below. And remember, always blame the controller because it's never your fault.